All right, so let's look at this really powerful funding rounds database now. There's a lot of instructions here, but I'm going to try and explain it in this video so that it's easier to understand. Yeah, so for the funding rounds database, basically there's a couple of aspects to it. The first one is this main title page is basically what you want to call your funding round. It doesn't really matter. Usually, it'll start off with a paid off capital. You'll have a maybe a pre-seed or a seed round. You have some form of an angel round, maybe a grant and venture debt. The cool thing about this database is it automatically calculates a lot of the conversions for you. So there's four type of funding types basically that are built in. So you can see them here. So there's a grant, which is equity free. So it's basically usually free money that you get from, let's say, the government or some form of an ecosystem grant. Then you have debt, which is basically a loan, which has an interest rate which you have to repay at a certain date later on. Then you have the standard, which is a equity round where you are basically having investors invest in your company in exchange for a part of the company, which is your equity. And then there's the convertible note slash safe, which is basically a round where you start off with a debt instrument which triggers and converts into equity at a later stage. So the safe is one of the more complicated instruments to calculate the conversions for, but don't worry because this database has formulas which have a complete built-in functionality which does it for you. You just have to enter some information. So I'm going to show you how to use each of these views. Let's start off with the easy one, which is debt. I haven't made a view for grants because it doesn't really matter. It's going to be mostly free money. So in the debt round, the only thing you really have to enter in this database is the percentage of interest that you're paying. You link the investor, which is the venture debt firm, and what you have to do is you link the close date. So the close date is when this round is closed, right? So the interest will be calculated between the close date and the trigger date. The trigger date is the date where you have to repay the interest. So this is 2 years, and the interest rate is about 7% compounded annually. So your $100,000 initial debt is converted into 114,490 debt plus interest, which you have to pay back, right? So this is basically it for the debt round. This funding value is automatically pulled from when you link the actual round over here, right? So the venture debt round, which is linked from your rounds, is automatically pulled over here. Next, let's look at an equity round. For equity, what you have to do is you use the same idea. You don't have to link the closed debt necessarily because this is directly converting into equity. You can add this if you want, but it's not necessary. The main reason why you use the closed date is for something like a convertible note or a safe or a debt instrument because the time duration sometimes matters in the conversion. In the debt instrument, it always matters. So in this case, you just link your investor. So this will be from the investors database. And then what you do is you assign the valuation for your company at this round. So what this will do is it will convert the amount which was invested. So if you go back into all investments, you will be able to pull up the funding value directly from the angel round here, for example, which is an equity round. It'll pull it up directly from this round database. And the only thing you have to enter here is the valuation. So you can enter it directly over here. And then what the formula will do is it will automatically calculate the shares that were issued in this round based on the valuation and the amount that was invested in the round. And it will automatically compute the value per share as well. So debt and equity, relatively straightforward.